private equity firm does a $100 dividend recapitalization of a company. Walk me through the 3 financial statements. Nothing happens on the income statement. On the cash flow statement, the $100 inflow from financing is offset by the $100 outflow from dividends. No net change in cash. No change in assets. Debt up $100. Retained earnings down $100 on the balance sheet. In the next piece of the video, I'll show you this in Excel with the keyboard and keep my use of the mouse to a minimum to teach you the keyboard shortcuts so that you can be efficient and effective with these calculations. Microsoft Excel is the 4th thing on my taskbar, so I open it by pressing Windows key 4 on my PC. When I get to this menu, I press Enter. Alt W as in whiskey, V as in Victor, G as in golf. To remove grid lines. To rename the tab, I press Alt 6 since it's on my quick access toolbar. And I'll call this Div Recap. To freeze the first row and first column, Alt W as in whiskey, F as in Foxtrot, F as in Foxtrot, after using the arrow keys to get to cell Bravo 2. And let's begin. Shift spacebar to select the whole row. Control B as in Bravo, U as in uniform to make that row bold and underlined. And there's nothing that happens with this dividend recapitalization on the income statement, so I'm going to skip over that. I'm going to start with the cash flow statement. Control A as in alpha to select the whole tab. Alt O as in Oscar, C as in Charlie, A as in alpha to fit the columns. Alt 9er to make this blue. Blue values are going to be hard-coded today. F7 to do a spell check. So there's going to be 3 areas: operations, investing, and financing. Alt 9er to make those blue. F7 to do a spell check. For cash flow from operations, dividend recapitalization is not an operating activity, so it's just going to be 0. Alt 9er to make that blue. Alt H is in hotel, A is in alpha, N is in November to make that an accounting format. This is not an investment either. It wasn't a purchase of property, plant, and equipment or investment securities. So I'll just make this equal to Bravo 2. Black values contain formulas. And so financing, there's really a financing inflow and a dividend outflow. Control C as in Charlie, Control V as in Victor, T as in Tango to copy and paste formats. F7 to do a spell check. There's a $100 inflow from financing. So I'll do Control C as in Charlie, Control Alt V as in Victor, T as in Tango to copy and paste the formats. And that was offset by a dividend we paid since it was a dividend recap. So we borrowed $100 of debt as the private equity firm to pay ourselves a dividend. So this is just negative Bravo 4. And then finally we'll have net change in cash. Alt 9er to make that blue. Alt plus sign to do an auto sum. Control enter, and you can see there's no net change in cash. Alt H is in hotel, B is in Bravo, A is in Alpha. To make the borders there, Alt 8 to do a fill color. I'll do Alt 8, N is in November. Then F4 to repeat the last task to make it look visually appealing. Now, to make column C as in Charlie thinner, I say Control Spacebar, Alt O as in Oscar, C as in Charlie, W as in Whiskey, make the width equal to 1. And now we're going to talk about the balance sheet. So that's going to contain assets, liabilities, and equity. So I can actually, well, I can start here. I'll start with formatting. Alt H is in hotel, B is in Bravo, A is in Alpha to make those borders there. Alt 8 to make that light blue. Alt 8, N is in November, and then the F4 function to repeat the last task. Control C is in Charlie, Control Alt V is in Victor, T is in Tango to copy those colors. Do it again for equity. So assets are not changed because there was no net change in cash. So we can just set that equal to the net change in cash. There was no property, plant, and equipment purchased, no net change in assets. Liabilities, there's $100 more of debt payable. And then finally, there's equity. Equity went down $100, so we can set that equal to the dividend outflow. Alt O is in Oscar, C is in Charlie, A is in Alpha to fit that. Alt O is in Oscar, C is in Charlie, W is in Whiskey to make this column wider, or rather more narrow. And then finally, I'll do a check. So I'll say Alt 8, function F4 to repeat the last task. Control C is in Charlie, Control Alt V is in Victor, T is in Tango. And then I'll do an if statement to check this. I'll say if assets equals sum of these two, we're going to say accurate. And then if not, error, right? Because the balance sheet has to balance. And so you can see here that this was accurate indeed. The assets equals the sum of liabilities and equity. Control Alt plus to zoom in. I can remove what I want to freeze. And I've zoomed in so that you can see it. So just to summarize, when a company does a $100 dividend recapitalization, and often private equity firms do this with their portfolio companies. There's no change to the income statement. There's no change to operating or investing cash flows. The financing inflow from issuing debt is offset by the dividend outflow, so there's no net change in cash. No net change in cash on the balance sheet. No net change in property, plant, and equipment or other things either. Liabilities is up $100. Equity is down $100. And then finally we did a check in cell G as in golf 2 using an if statement to make sure the balance sheet balances. So this is how you answer the dividend recapitalization question, and do it in Microsoft Excel with the keyboard. I'll do one last spell check and things look good. Take this knowledge into the marketplace to be a better financial statement user, a better understanding of accounting and private equity. Have a great day. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, hit the notification bell, hit the like button, leave a comment below, and please buy my books. The links to those will be in the description of this video.